Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here. Um, it's a little bit early in the day, but it's alright. We're gonna do a good old, I know the year is not quite over yet, but I did want to do, a sort of year in review for the channel. Um, I will say it's been, this year's kind of been a little bit difficult. I'm gonna be perfectly honest as far as, keeping up with things and at least as of late, I've kind of been struggling a little bit with motivation, just a little bit, especially since there's just been, it's tough finding my place in here. It's a little bit on the tougher side. So, it's hard to explain, but however, we're gonna go over the channel in review at the end of the video. Where we'll be discussing with y'all some of the special plans that I have, a little bit more details on the Bloodborne stream and Halo streams. And as far as, what the channel's going to look like next year, and, hey, it's like, oh, are we moving more towards streaming, or, are we moving, towards our videos? So I'll answer all of that at the end of the video. As we get into here, though, we are approaching 100 subs. We are approaching. If y'all have any comments, or questions y'all would like to ask me, doesn't even just have to be about YouTube or whatever, and or stuff that's directly on the channel, but y'all can ask me general questions, and if we get enough questions, I can answer them with Torchic as well. Keep everything appropriate, though. I will not be answering inappropriate questions. If the question's goofy, I'll probably still answer it. So yeah, just leave those in the comments below. But as we get into here, I want to show you all some of the behind the scenes stuff. I think I want to do this every year that, I keep up with this channel, and everything. I don't really plan on making the channel, I don't plan on abandoning the channel anytime soon, realistically speaking, but yeah. Alright, but we are at 80, which, at the beginning of the year, we were at 30, I want to say. I want to say we're at 30, which is kind of insane. Considering we're gaining 50 subs in total. I think I was like 36 specifically or something like that. But yeah, I mean that's how I wasn't necessarily. I was expecting to be at around between 60 and 70. Having the same level of growth that I had the previous year or whatever. I am hoping to reach a big hundo soon. Now, if we go into analytics here, not in the last month, 2024. Okay, so as y'all can see, in terms of views, I have massive spikes. It's not like a consistent, however, obviously through here you can kind of see a little bit of a consistent growth, and then spikes. This massive spike here, I'm not completely sure what, I'm assuming these are what, this February, this stint had to have been when I posted my Destiny 2 guide videos. This massive spike, I'm not completely sure what the fuck that is. I'm not completely sure. So over the year, you can see my top 5 pieces of content, all being Destiny 2. Actually, a lot of my top 10, there's only one video in here that's not Destiny 2 related, and that is the final episode of the Seamless Co-op, at least for the base game. Watch times is drastically higher than last year, which, is pretty good. Watch time is, definitely a massive plus. Okay, and as I can see, I've gained 64 in total, so that means I was actually at 26? No, 16? Right? Is my math mathing? Yeah, 16, so I was actually way lower. Alright, doing pretty well. And as y'all can see, pretty solid. Pretty solid. I will definitely be explaining a couple of these stuff. There was an issue extremely early on that I had with a particular someone, IRL, like in real life, I had a particular issue with someone because they thought I was a different person that they thought I was. And even though this is what I had explained to them, it's not like a bad kind of way, but putting this in layman's terms, I don't believe in the whole blood is thicker than water deal. I personally don't. Life has proven to me that that is just simply not true. And I had explained this to them previously, and after some semblance of a misunderstanding, bam. So, but you know, we move on. We'll move on. So, you know, as y'all can see, those little analytics in terms of content-wise, 2024, views are way up, you know, compared to last year at least. Impressions, I'm not completely sure. Click-through rate, I believe you want to be at around 5%, but obviously I'm so small that I don't really know. I would like to say I would rather the view duration be a little bit higher, but you know, kind of the way it is. There are going to be a couple of things that I do plan on changing next year that will probably massively impact this because I uploaded a crap ton of videos this year. It's kind of insane. But if you know we want to look at audience or whatever, the graph doesn't really matter here. I'm more interested in this stuff and this stuff down here. So, format, obviously I've mostly posted videos. Shorts, I've only posted like 2, I want to say. No, I think this year I've only really posted 1. So, and then live, of course, you know, there's some of that stuff. Everything is going to be low. I don't understand this whole deal because, like, all of these are going to be low. Like, all these are going to be low. Unfortunately, I can't see when people are, but that's interesting. I've seen that percentage. Expected, you know. This is actually not true. I know for a fact this is not true. As far as my gendered one, because Torchic is a female, and she watches some of the videos here and there, at least. So, like, this isn't exactly true, but it's probably at least somewhat accurate. Some interesting stuff here that I thought was pretty interesting was the age here. I am personally 23, in case you don't know. However, I am I'm gonna be turning 24 soon. However, I don't really necessarily. I don't know. I feel out of place in my own generation. They're gonna be perfectly honest. I grew up with the grandparents and everything, so my sense of taste is a little bit on the older side, but which is cool. It's interesting because like half of my audience is older than I am. A decent chunk is my age or younger, and then which is cool. I'm assuming this is mostly because of the Souls aspect. And Destiny 2 is is a little bit of an older game, so I found that kind of interesting. So, moving into content here. Now, I do not remember how I got this to work, but this is a spreadsheet of every single video that I have ever posted, right? Because I'm in 2022 or whatever. This is every single video that I've posted, which is 197 in my channel's lifetime. My earliest videos being in like 2022, which is kind of crazy. These are how many videos that I've posted this year alone, which is 100 and well, okay, that are not regularly unlisted is the thing. Also, the dates are wrong on some of these, so they had like 180 something, which is kind of crazy. That's almost like that's actually a little over 3 videos a week. Because there's 52 days in a week, and 52 times 3 is 156. So yeah, which is kind of crazy. I do plan on massively cutting the amount of videos that I have done, that I do next year. Increase the quality a little bit. So Of course, here's a spreadsheet that, of course, can be organized, you know, any way, shape, or form. Um, so I believe in total, it was saying that I had posted 157 that actually have a date for them. The videos that don't have a date published on them, those are like unlisted videos. I'll explain some of them because there's not that many. The first and foremost, I will say something that I think I've kind of done as like the years progressed is the quality has definitely upgraded thanks to thanks to a YouTuber named Breakfast Club. Helped really improve the video quality because I could not really figure out OBS because the auto configure wizard was not great, but messing around with the settings, it was really I could not figure out how to, because I could figure out how to get actual like Dark Souls 3, because Dark Souls 3 is when the decision was happening. Dark Souls 3 would lag. Well, I was having the issue of Dark Souls 3 would be fine, but Destiny 2 would lag massively. So, you know, I started using Breakfast Club settings, which, you know, has improved the quality greatly. Now, as far as my quality goes, I'm still trying to figure out some settings for that. Noise gate is just a little bit complicated, because I do want to add in a little bit more noise gates, so that, you know, certain sounds that are quieter, like keyboard clicking and that sort of thing, aren't necessarily heard. But that's kind of, at some point next year, I would like to get an actual microphone so that I can really, like, go ham and then adjust it. Actually, surprisingly enough, Torchic has an actual mic for no real reason. for no real reason, so that's kind of interesting. Because she doesn't do, like, videos or anything like that, so. But, looking at the content here, over the past year, obviously the views are way all over the place. Views are way all over the place. Y'all can see my actual totals here for strictly this year. Um, so not adding any years prior or anything like that. So y'all can see that at the top there. Now I know this might look intimidating at first because holy shit is this list long. I believe it's not organized by date either. Yeah, it's organized in alphabetical order. Which I tried figuring out how to get this to work, but I just can't. I could do it with numbers, going from lowest to highest, but because there's actual dates here, there's actual like letters here, it just will auto do April 1st. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? So, yeah. And there's quite a bit of video, so explaining some of the untitles. Atomic Heart's first boss, that's a video I never published because I did it to show other people. This Bloodborne video, I'm not completely sure what this is. I actually don't know what this is unlisted, but it was probably like a testing type deal. The Sparking Zero videos I was trying to figure out quality-wise because the colors were extremely off for the Sparking Zero videos, and I'm assuming it's because of HDR. So I'm going to have to turn off HDR in the future if I'm going to record it without a capture card. Master Twab Time, I'm not completely sure why this is unlisted. I don't know why it's unlisted. Beating Ludwig, that's unlisted because that was a private video thing. Oh wait, that's the difference. So beating Ludwig, I just recorded that for personal use. MK11, that is a spawn combo. Orphan of Cause was my first run of him. Oh, these two videos are extremely old, but yeah, we're not dead. That doesn't matter either. Oh, that was some music piece that I did that I had unlisted at first. I remember that too. I'm gonna have to go through and delete some of these unlisted videos because I don't really need them anymore. I'm obviously gonna keep the Orphan of Cause and the Bloodborne one, but there are just some that I don't necessarily need anymore. Holy, seeing some of these totals is kind of crazy. Like, some of these videos had a high impressions rate, which is kind of interesting. As far as, you know, talking about some general things, because I have seen a lot of this data, probably my lowest performing series was definitely Code Vein, and Elden Ring's Elden Ring Seamless Co-op did really, really bad. Interestingly enough, despite Elden Ring Seamless Co-op, the final episode having a crap ton of episodes, having a crap ton of views, but specifically the DLCs, like anything I did on the Elden Ring DLC just did horrible. Like, as you can see here, we can highlight these. These are all the DLC videos, and look, these are the views, right? Horrible. Horrible, right? And even if you look at some of the Seamless Co-op stuff, I don't know why. I don't know why these are separated like this. Oh, it's because these were at the beginning of the year. Some of the older episodes are earlier. As you can see, a lot of it did not do well either. Surprisingly, Stellar Blade actually... Oh, and this is, of course, outside of Final Shame campaign, because I was just posting straight up. But, like, my New Game Plus series is actually my best performing series on the channel. In totality. Obviously, I've had some episodes perform a little bit better. Obviously, like, an Elden Ring episode outshined it. But, like, Dark Souls 3, if y'all want to see that, in terms of the series... As y'all can see here, it's all over the place. Like, some as low as 15, so like as high as 207. Damn. Oh, that was the final episode? No, it wasn't. It was the first part of Lothar Castle. So that was the very first episode, and then, hardest boss would have been Slave Knight Gale. So that did, 214. So yeah, obviously it's all over the place, especially comparing it to Stellar Blade New Game Plus stuff, which was exceedingly consistent 20s and 50s. Dark Souls 3 definitely performed better in general, but there was a consistent viewership with Stellar Blade New Game Plus, so... As far as Dark Souls 1, all of it's not together because I actually did not title it the same, but as I can see, did decent. Dark Souls, this Dark Souls 1, I'm assuming it's because I misspelled it and says Darks. So, but as you can see, my Amateur's Guide stuff, it did well, but I did enlist these later on down the line because, in case I do not know, I actually get myself into controversy somewhat regularly. But not in the way you think, necessarily. I feel like at this point, I am sort of known for having extremely hot takes, or like, kind of like, under the radar takes, right? So I don't exactly have the best of, thought processes when I upload videos. Like, these 3 videos were controversial, but not necessarily for a hot take per se, but the titling of it, right? Saying Amateur's Guide to Titans, Hunters, and Warlocks. I think it might have at first said beginners? But my thought process here was, okay, realistically speaking, these 3 videos would have been a lot better if they would have came out before the Guardian rank system. The Guardian rank system kind of fucks everything up. So, and of course, I will explain my process for, I don't usually make a video necessarily when I make a mistake. Necessarily, I prefer to show through actions rather than, beforehand stuff. Like, especially my early, like, really, really early days, like last year, I was getting comments like, hey, you can probably edit this down or whatnot. And instead of, being like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this as far as better content, even though that's sort of what I'm doing here, but I instead, actively over the course of the year, I hope that those of y'all that have been around for a while have noticed that when I actually do games or whatever, I usually, I've gotten a lot better at doing the editing portions and stuff as far as, making things a little bit more compact rather than super expansive. That's mostly because I don't necessarily feel as much of a need nowadays to show getting from point A to point B necessarily. because I'm not covering newer games. Like with Stellar Blade, I did have to essentially show long stints of gameplay because I was showing where every single outfit was and where a decent amount of the body cores were, and so that's I can't just cut to being there necessarily. So yeah, so some I can do that with, some I cannot. Like hint for the end of the video, I will be revisiting Elden Ring at some point, um, but it will be getting like massively chopped down, Now, here's a little bit of so with these videos were supposed to have been watched after you've already completed Guardian ranks. I never prefaced this, and I got flamed for it. Specifically on the Warlock one, the Titan one, I didn't get very much necessarily like engagement from, and the Hunter one, like the Hunter one is so low in views because I unlisted it very quickly because I uploaded the Hunter one. Yeah, I uploaded the Hunter one last. The Warlock especially, I was getting a lot of flack for, so of course I unlisted it. Then I released a video being like, hey, these were initially intended to be after this. I'm gonna make it up to y'all by actually doing beginner stuff. At the Guardian Rises quest, the progressing through Guardian ranks. And I did that on a new account, the Billy Bob Troll or whatever account, which was also a completely free to play, account or whatever. So I didn't exactly get DLCs or anything like that on that account, nor will I really realistically ever use it. In the future, I probably won't. So I did that. Then I also did a explaining the Destiny 2 vocabulary, which at some point I might revisit. That is, I will only really realistically revisit it if we ever get a new Darkness subclass. Then I'll go back over and be like, hey, this is the vocab you need to know. So, yeah, that's kind of one of those instances where a little bit of got myself with a little bit of hot water. Now, probably like the 3 videos I'm probably the most proud of as far as this year. There was a Bloodborne music thing that I did. Let me find it. It was an Orphan of Cause. I could search it just regularly, but oh yeah, my Hunter's Gone Crazy. This was a song. This was probably my #1 project this year. Was My Hunter's Gone Crazy. I had a moment where like I really went ham. Like I worked on this song for like a week straight. I worked on literally nothing else. Like there's a gap between like the video before this and a little bit of gap with the video afterwards. I was focused, and I couldn't shake the focus. There's been a few times where this has happened. That hasn't really been shown on the channel, but Torchic has had to deal with it before. Like when Stellar Blade came out, like I could not put the game down. I could not put the game down. The last time this also happened was Doom Eternal. Kind of happened with it a little bit too. I couldn't put it down. That's actually not something that's really happened with Destiny 2 necessarily as hard as like, because Destiny 2 I've always had games that I've played along with it. While Celebrate it was really difficult for me to put it down. So that's probably my #1 project, and then some of my other build videos. So might be asking, Hot Sauce Man, it's reaching the end of the video. What about these plans that y'all were teasing us about in the beginning? I have some special stuff planned. Very special stuff planned. So, as far as collabs go, if I ever do a Destiny 2 collab, it's definitely going to be either with brand spanking new people that are new to the game, or it's going to be someone that I like would know, that I would personally know, but probably won't really be happening. Probably ever in the future. I might do a test video as far as some voice trolling when I get a better mic, because in case I don't know, I can do impressions. I'm not going to do any of them now, but I'm not a huge fan of my mic quality, and I would prefer that to be upgraded before I really start doing that. So, there is only one series on this channel that actually exists where I have ever used my voice in a video, and that was the Kermit the Pimp Bloodborne series. Uh, which y'all should be able to find it on the playlist channel. That video came out like early last year, I want to say. So, it's almost been 2 years now, I believe, since I did that series. So there's that for Destiny 2. As far as, if any of you are wondering, hey, where's Breakfast Club? On the YouTube channel recently. Still waiting on, likely, Elden Ring. As I told you, the only realistic way that I'm realistically going to be doing any collabs, not necessarily that I've told them, but any way that I necessarily will do collabs in the future is either Elden Ring Seamless Co-op or something similar to that, like probably Night Rain. If I can, try to get a couple people for Elden Ring Night Rain, then I'll definitely be doing that. Speaking of Elden Ring, y'all be getting something special next year. I'll be getting something very, very special. Possibly 2 videos, possibly 2 different. I'm gonna call them mini series because that's gonna be the closest thing they are. But I'm actually gonna for one of the mini series, I'm going to be using something that I have never ever used in a Souls game. Period. Never have used. I have actively refused to use it. And last, when Torchic and I were playing Seamless Co-op, she was begging me to use it. but I refused. I will be using it for the first time. The only hint y'all are getting is I have the closest I have came, no diddy, to using this is Bloodborne. I used Executioner's gloves for a brief period in time. But that is the closest I have ever came to using this particular thing. So y'all need to stay tuned for that. And for that series again, it'll be massively chopped down. I'm gonna cut out a lot of the bosses even too. So yeah, I'm gonna chop that shit down. So it's not a super long series. Also, the secondary series, the little mini series, which will be the actual final Elden series that I will ever do on the channel, if it even happens, is I'm going to need to actually get 3 other reliable people that are punctual, because that is an issue that I ran into several times. And this is not just with, collabs necessarily, but Dorkchick's kind of the only person that has actually been actively punctual, but that's because we live together, so, there's not really a way she can't be punctual. I'm all about punctuality. I grew up on the aspect of, hey, 5 minutes before, you're late. And if 5 minutes before, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. That's how I've always rolled. That's how I will continue to roll in the future as well. I'm super punctual. Now, of course, there is instances when I'm late, yes. But anyways, the plan series, maybe, is doing Elden Ring Seamless Co-op as an RPG. So, aka, you have to fit the archetype of either healer, or thief, or warrior, or tank, or mage. You have to fit a particular archetype, and you cannot use anything outside of that archetype. So, but will that series happen? I don't know. Depends if I can find at least 4 people. Well, not at least. If I can find 4 people that are willing to do that. And if you have me on Discord, you can just DM me on Discord. Don't have to do the little rigmarole. The final thing video that at least will be coming is I do plan on interviewing a VTuber at some point. As far as who, I don't know, but I'm gonna have to put some inquiries in about doing an interview because there are questions that I am curious about, and I kind of want to do random stuff. especially like next year, I do want to do like, oh, like just every so often drop a really random, so just to keep you on your toes a little bit. So I do want to interview a VTuber next year. I have some personal questions. Well, not personal questions, but I have some questions that I would personally like to ask. If y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask, let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely put them in a Google Doc and make sure I ask those questions. So keep it tame, keep it tame. But if y'all have some like kind of strange questions that aren't, you know, gonna make me look at you sideways, you know, So yeah, that's gonna be it. Those are the videos I have planned. Just sort of a recap of videos I planned. Special Elden Ring thing that y'all are not going to be expecting. Then playing Elden Ring like an RPG, but that's only if I can find enough people and it can be punctual. So there is those two, and then I do want to interview a VTuber next year. Now, as far as videos go, I plan on drastically reducing, like maybe one a week. Well, not just maybe one a week, at least like guaranteed one a week. One a week. Not really for the rest of the year, but you know, one a week. As far as new games coming out, I will cover Doom Dark Ages. I will cover Phantom Blade Zero if it's coming out in 2025, and of course I will be covering some of the Apollo stuff that comes out. Only expect one Destiny 2 build video, that being with the shotgun, and of course no backup plans. But you know, maybe I might find some unique stuff with it, possibly. I just don't know. So, because usually I like to do builds that are a little bit that are at least a little bit on the more obscure side. So yeah, there's that video will be coming out. That'll be the only Destiny 2 video to really come out unless something major happens between now and when the Apollo expansion comes out. I do plan on doing the day one raid. It will probably be my final raid, if the raid doesn't slap. If the raid's good, then I'll keep playing to get all the raid stuff, and then we'll kind of go from there. At some point, I will be talking about Destiny 2's state and how far we've actually fallen, because I think people underestimate how far Destiny 2 has actually fallen from there. But maybe I just video idea. At some point, I will be releasing a Souls game, like Soulsborne games ranked. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I'm gonna get destroyed. But so our streams go every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern time. Halo streams will be happening every Saturday. They will actually be ending at 7 p.m. Instead of just staying a little bit longer. I did find a way to get OG graphics, so to stop on OG graphics. There's supposed to be a button on your controller, but I'm also using PS5 controller, so maybe that's why it's just not there for me. So I actually had to use my keyboard to do that. Figured that out finally, so there will be OG graphics. For at least Halo 1, Halo 2, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see the actual difference, or even if I can turn it on original, because that one's one that I might not do. Now, so there's that, right? When Halo's done, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but that's gonna take a while. So we'll get there. I'm on Halo 1. We have to go through Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, 4, and then we're gonna finish Reach. I've already actually gone halfway through Reach already. So because I played that game, I played a lot of the game first before being like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing the first one. So yeah, when we get to Reach, then I'll plan another game to go through. And of course, do not forget, March, I will have a more particular date as we get closer. But in March will be Bloodborne stream, March 23rd. I believe that's Bloodborne's anniversary, or is it the 15th? Because it's possible the 15th might have been, the 23rd might have been when the DLC released. But I could be tripping as well. No, March 24th. I don't know why I'm thinking March 15th. Maybe that's when Dark Souls 3 released. Possibly. But yeah, March 24th. March 24th, that's when the Bloodborne 10-year anniversary stream will be. So, yeah, and if y'all want to come in, I am very familiar with Bloodborne's lore. So if you have any questions or y'all want to see some of the goofy cheeses that I will be doing for that stream, tune in, and I will be streaming until I beat the game. Streaming until I beat the game. Well, not just beat the game, but beat every single boss. Outside of Chalice Dungeons. But I have to beat every single boss, and, you know, even if y'all have been like, oh, what is even the point of this, right? Celebrating 10 years? But also, I will be attempting to beat Ludwig without an NPC for the first time, so... yeah, it's gonna be absolutely fun and fantastic. Yay! So yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on this whole thing. Which video y'all excited for? What questions y'all have? You know, I'll be floating around in the comments of this video. So thanks for tuning in, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.